Cool.
Joe Rogan. These are YouTube's saddest moments, with Linus Tech Tips starting our list with this iconic live stream. He was supposed to be celebrating 10 million subs, yet Linus began the stream with a pretty somber tone.
So yeah, I don't know how it all happened. I've got this following of literally 10 million, and it kind of feels like luck sometimes.
I know that people are gonna think I'm probably being an asshole, but I've never liked Linus Tech Tips. I've never liked him. I couldn't really stand his videos when I was younger. And I didn't watch him until there was a big controversy of him treating his staff shit. It's maybe sad. Yeah, it could be sad for him, but a lot of people like him. So, I understand why the sadness comes, but I don't really feel particularly sad.
Probably more like you guys than you realize.
He'd talk about the pressure his work put on his family.
Okay, that's hard.
Every time my wife would ask me, how long do we need to keep doing these kinds of hours? Like, how long do we need to keep pushing like this before we can just back off?
You don't need to keep pushing like this. You can easily scale down your channel and not make as much money, but that's what you want. Welcome back. So yeah, that's kind of what you want. So you can't really blame that on the Linus Tech Tip.
And like have a life. I started with, hey, look, I'm gonna slow down when we have kids. And I said, hey, thanks for basically soloing our first kid. Tell you what, I'll slow down when we have a second one. And then I said I'd slow down when they're old enough to remember that daddy was always working. And then I said
I don't. This is just self-whining shit. This is just whiny shit. Like you want to stop, then stop. Stop, then stop. You owe nobody nothing. Just stop. Just stop it. What's the point? Like, you're always going to move the goalpost by this mentality. Like, there's no point.
But I'd slow down when they got to the age where they really need parent involvement to help them with their homework or their sports club or whatever else.
With a story about Make-A-Wish, then bringing Linus to tears.
I had a pretty life-changing experience a little while ago. The kid in question was too sick to travel, and they asked if I could record a personalized video for him. So I picked up my phone, and I pointed at myself, and I just tried to think of something to say, and I couldn't. And I looked at their guidelines, and it had just the most useless stuff in it. It was like, be upbeat, and don't talk about death. And I was just like, this kid's 12.
Okay, this one I'm going to say I'm completely on his side on, because I have a little bit of a story where I walked past a man and I felt like he was dying. And there was just something in me that compelled me to sit down and talk to him for a while. And it was probably one of the hardest conversations I've had in my life. And even today, I feel that feeling when I think about him. So it would be probably the same principle when you are talking to a child that's going to die and you know that it's your fan and you want to give him something to remember until his time comes. And yeah, I empathize with him for sure.
He's like dying of leukemia. Like, what? Last thing I can do right now is be upbeat. The only thought going through my head is like, everyone and everything I know is gonna die. All I could see in the photo album was my kids. The whole thing made me question why I'm doing this.
Ironically, the thumbnail became a viral meme, leading to comments such as, came for the memes, left with emotions.
I understand this. This is a little bit of, I don't know how to explain it. It's hard. It's hard for any man, and I don't care whether I've had a particular like for them or not. This is a hard situation to be in. And I hope the situation went well, and I know it's a while ago, but yeah.
I'm not crying, I'm just water cooling my eyes. And where men cried. 9. Bradley Martin. Brad lost his dad at the age of only 6, which is understandably something he struggles to talk about.
That's the thing, when I think about my dad.
Although the saddest example was during his podcast with Tyler Perry.
See, the biggest problem with people like Bradley Martin is that Bradley Martin always wants to... He talks such a big game that it's hard to feel bad for him. Like, it's always like, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna beat you up. So it is sad. It's probably gonna be a sad moment, but it's a bit harder to feel bad for him,
I don't want to cry.
But why would you even hold it? However it feels, you should let it out. Don't do that, man. Let it out how it comes.
He's a good man, it seems like, the other guy.
Brad was thanking Tyler for some advice he'd given earlier.
People get so caught up at where they're at and in the moment of like the negative and the darkness and the evil. And
You're completely right there, Bradley.
See the light. It wasn't as simple as what I thought it was then, which was my father didn't love me.
Yeah.
And I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I built up so many walls and who I was. It's crazy looking back.
That actually makes a lot of sense with his attitude and on podcasts, trying to be the tough guy and the strong guy and shooting roids to get stronger and stuff. It makes a lot of sense, honestly. So yeah, maybe I do empathize for them a little bit more. I'm gonna bite my words there.
I know how much it affected even my personal relationships, my intimate relationships, my relationships with my family, friends, everything.
And was able to end the moment with an excellent silver lining.
Everything that we go through, every hardship, every downfall is going to be a new opportunity to learn and to grow and to become better.
Hey,
That's
Joe
true.
Rogan. On episode 1123 of the Joe Rogan Experience, he and Kevin Smith were talking about their
This is going to be sad for sure.
pets when Joe passively mentioned he saw a veterinarian cry.
He's the only vet I've ever had cry with me.
Over what animal?
I had a puppy that had distemper. Man, the puppy just, after like a couple of days of being at the house, would have these seizures, like violent seizures. And then towards the end, it was having them all day long.
As a result of the dog's condition, it had to be put down.
It's even worse when it's a youngin. So when you're having something like a puppy, it's even worse. Or like a young child that dies. It's always worse when they're young.
I held the dog, I placed him down, I gave him a kiss, I said goodbye. And he put the needle in the dog and put the dog to sleep. Then we both went outside, man. He was just crying, just weeping. He was killed by a drunk driver.
The vet was?
Yeah, that was a rough one. I got an email, I believe, from his daughter. Super good dude, man.
Leading Kevin to share a similar story.
It's such a weird relationship where one day you're like, I love you to death and I love you so much I have to kill you. And that last fucking hour was...
Oh, I love you so much I have to kill you. Oh my lord. Yeah, if you think that's one of your family members, one of your pets, it sucks to hear.
like probably hands down the most difficult hour of my life, man, because we all knew what was coming. And you're programmed to stop that at all costs. You're programmed to keep people around, keep yourself around.
7. Loaf. As a YouTube prankster, it seemed as though Loaf was always having fun. So when he'd post a video titled YouTube Saved My Life with a depressing thumbnail and the following intro.
I wonder what's going to happen here. The problem with pranksters a lot of times is that you don't really believe them. That's the problem with Crying Wolf, sadly.
Failure, loser, and loner are the 3 words that I would use to describe myself.
It seemed the audience was in for something different. Loaf began by stating he had a tough time growing up.
High school was a hard time for me. I was really insecure. I was really unsure of myself. I got bullied pretty bad.
And thought that starting YouTube would help.
Yeah, that's one of the problems. If you want attention somehow, and the attention has to come from a certain place, like, for example, being louder, being obnoxious, making pranks, being the jokester, it's very hard because you all you know is to do the thing you learned how to get attention from. Be it good or bad attention, at least you got attention. It's probably more of the mentality.
Help to keep him safe.
If I can make them laugh, then they're not gonna hurt me.
However, Loaf struggled to find
Exactly.
success.
For a while, it was just terrible. Nothing was happening. I would be embarrassed when people would ask me what I did.
Even feeling like a failure in the presence of his parents.
My parents have never understood the YouTube thing. That's probably the hardest part, because it's just every kid wants to make their parents proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I understand this. And it sucks because a lot of kids won't make their parents proud. Or at least think they didn't make them proud. And both of them are equally as bad. Not because one of them made them proud and you don't know, but because the feeling inside is the same.
I mean,
Since then, however, Loaf has found massive success, recently announcing he was able to buy a house.
Oh, that's sweet.
and I was able to buy it 100% with cash, which was also a big goal of mine.
6. Syndicate. Similar to Linus, Syndicate was part of the Make-A-Wish program, being chosen by a kid named Alec for them to spend a day together.
Ooh.
This resulted in a video titled Making His Wish Come True.
Again, every time I hear Make-A-Wish, every time I hear things like this, it's always more heart-wrenching because it's a kid. Always, every single time.
In which they flew in a helicopter and became extremely close.
Give me a high five. Did you enjoy the helicopter ride then?
Syndicate inspired Alec to open his own channel.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much. We're over 200 subscribers already. That's pretty crazy.
However, just 43 days later, Syndicate made a tragic announcement.
They gave me permission to be able to let you guys know that.
Oh, I don't want to watch this. I kind of want to. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it though, but
Unfortunately, he did lose his battle, and now he's in a better place because he really wasn't in a good spot. So, thank you so much.
5. Kai Cenat. Kai was trying to become Twitch's most subscribed streamer, setting a goal of 80,000 to overtake XQC. When he'd reached the milestone,
that's a good goal. That's a really good goal. And congratulations, Kai, for doing that.
in late 2022, he almost couldn't handle it.
80,000 is crazy. Bro, 80,000 is crazy.
But getting a supportive call from his mum sent Kai over the edge.
Hold on, my mom calling me.
Congratulations, son.
Thank you.
And this is just right back to the guy that just said, I wanted to make my parents proud. And what happens now? I'm certain he's going to be making his parent proud. And it's just going to break him because, not break him, but, put him over the edge of crying. I mean, not break him like any particularly proper break. But, yeah.
Number one. And we watching and we're so proud of you, everybody. Babe, I love you so much. Babe, I'm so proud of you. You're number one. And you my son. And I'm so happy to be your mom. And I just want to let the world know that you've been working hard like this for a long time. So they just only now know. They just finding out. My son works hard. He's a grinder every day, every night.
Oh, right in the feels right there. Look at him. This is a man really not trying to cry. This is a man that's really proud. He's made his mom proud. He's made his family proud. I mean, Kai...
Number one, and you my son, and I'm proud to be your mum. Man, straight tears right there. 4. Matthew Santoro. Nicole Arbor was his girlfriend, and
I don't know this
seemed
guy.
like a healthy
I don't know him.
YouTube couple. However, 4 months after separating, Matthew uploaded a video titled My Abuse Story.
Oh,
It's not
shit.
something people ever talk about.
Oh, no. This is the thing that I'm very adamant on with every man out there. I want you to talk about these things because... the truth is, men don't get hurt. And even if you just need somebody to talk to, pop into my Kick, pop into my Twitch, you can talk to me about it. I'm always willing to hear, and I'm always willing to listen. Yeah, I hope that it goes well for you, and everything's good. And if you need help, you need to find it somewhere, even if it's coming to talk to me.
But I feel compelled to because I was in an abusive relationship.
He began by explaining that Nicole was very controlling.
This individual that I was with was extremely jealous. I had to cut every female out of my life, out of social media, delete every number out of my phone.
Before adding he'd been hit by her in the middle of an argument.
This person prevented me from leaving their home and said, "You're not going anywhere." At which point I was hit in the face.
So, assault as well. And that's the problem, because men don't tend to be heard when they're being assaulted, because all they're getting called is a pussy. That's the truth. But you can't do anything back, because then you're violent towards women. So there's no win here.
This caused Matthew to break down crying.
And it's something that men never talk about. Because
You're
we're
right.
made to believe that we're supposed to be strong.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
I never talked about
100%.
it because I thought that no one would believe me. No.
And sadly, still people won't. Even if people like me would believe this, because this does not look like one of the strongest men on the planet. And it's okay to be a weaker person. It's okay. but you then have to talk about it in a different way.
No one would give a shit.
Leading to one of the saddest videos ever uploaded to YouTube.
There's people that love you, and you don't need to be in that relationship. You don't need to be with someone that
He speaks facts here,
you,
honestly.
and uses you and manipulates you to do.
It's really sad to see, but he is right here. You don't have to be there. The problem is leaving is difficult. There's a lot of psychological things about this, but you got Stockholm syndrome, which is like your... we can call it abuser now, but like if you're getting kidnapped and you start caring for the kidnapper, that's called the Stockholm syndrome. So you can kind of think about this as an abusee and an abuser situation as well, where the Stockholm syndrome will take on. This guy looks like he's not being honest. That could be true as well. That could be true. If we're stopping the video, it could be true that he's not being honest, of course. And it could also be true that he is honest, but he's just not used to crying, you know? I'm gonna see the rest of the clip here and see what we think.
Do everything that they want.
3. Jake Paul. In late...
See, I get what you're talking about, Anthony, here. That he might not necessarily look, what's it called, genuine. But at the same time, it's very difficult to know how a man's tears come out sometimes. Especially if they're not used to crying. But if they're weaker, they're often used to crying. So...
In late 2019, Jake announced he was basically quitting YouTube to train for a boxing match he'd scheduled against Anderson Gibb. The fight became his sole focus for almost half a year, and while he would eventually win, Jake revealed on Logan's podcast his life felt meaningless after.
Like, I win the fight, right? That was...
I'm gonna give you a little bit of perspective here, because a lot of fighters have this issue. When there is no next opponent and when there's no clear goal, your life is meaningless, you have nothing, you feel like an empty void, you do not know where to go. So that's why a lot of fighters always want to stay in fight camps or training camps, and they want to have the next opponent ready or the next fight up or anything that can keep them going. Walking around meaningless after that is very difficult.
Was my sole focus and purpose. All of a sudden I get back to LA, I'm by myself, like sitting in the fucking room, and I'm like, what do I do?
In addition to feeling directionless, Jake explained he was dealing with 4 different lawsuits.
And then I wake up the next day, have a phone call like with my...
But I'm going to say a lot of these people have been very unlikable so far, because Jake Paul isn't a very likable guy. I will give him a lot of respect recently for what he's done in the boxing world. Not because he's been fighting the best fighters, but because he's been constantly improving and always taking a challenge at the least. I mean, he shouldn't be fighting Mike Tyson. That's just like a bullshit fight. He should be fighting a legitimate boxer now. But at the same time, I also understand that he was a bully victim of his brother. Like, if you actually pay attention to the videos, his brother's an asshole. A grade 1A asshole. You know, Jake is a grade 2 asshole, but not as bad as his brother for sure. But goddamn that brother of his. Oh my lord.
My lawyers for one of the lawsuits for literally like something I did not do. And it goes back to like people just like attacking Jake Paul and like wanting to see me fail for literally like fucking nothing. Like, they're suing me for something I didn't do, like on God. And then
you're good. Take a break. Take a break.
Yeah, take a breather. We can sit for a second.
Which consumed not only his life, but his family's as well.
My mom is like spending hours of her day when she's retired. She's in Hawaii, and they're like, yo, your son has to pay this. Like,
I mean, it's not like you don't have the money, so I don't feel as bad. It's like you have to pay this amount, you have to pay this amount. You're making the money, aren't you? So, I mean...
It just like so stupid.
2. Dan TDM. Dan's dog Ellie was a staple in his videos ever since he got her back in 2013. She helped Dan film reaction videos, fashion shows, and even Minecraft content,
that's
stealing
cute.
The hearts of up to 30 million viewers.
I mean, that's kind of cute, but at the same time, the dogs don't live that long, you know? They live like 14, 15 years, like...
So when he'd upload a video titled Goodbye Ellie, Dan and his audience were totally devastated.
Yesterday, unfortunately, Ellie died.
He'd explain exactly how Ellie passed.
Stings even more because she went in for an infected tooth. So she had to go in for an operation. And she just didn't wake up. Just before we got the phone call that happened, we were already planning like how we were going to work out picking her up when she...
Ah, I see. Maybe she was allergic to the... maybe she was allergic to the anesthesia or something.
an operation is finished, and then you just get hit with that.
Calling the loss one of his most difficult challenges.
I know it's a dog, but for us, it's like it's a member of our family, and I'm very lucky. I haven't had a lot of loss in my life, so this is probably.
I think this is another problem of society today. We're so far removed from death. I understand that this is sad, because it is sad. Yeah, it is sad, but it's a dog. It is sad, yes, 100%. But we are so far removed from death. It's almost like death is a sin, even though it's one of the most natural things to ever happen. I will die, my brother will die, my mother will die, everybody will die. And I think that it should be celebrated as a beautiful occurrence of life. And I hope that when I die, I want everybody to celebrate. I want everybody to celebrate. I want them to jump. I want them to have the best time, because if I do have some sort of afterlife, I want to see people be happy and celebrate my life, do not mourn my death.
Probably the one that's been the hardest. Like, my heart literally hurts.
1. Theo Von and Sean Strickland. There's been many a sad moment on Theo Von's podcast.
Oh yeah, dude. We cried.
So to give you guys a little bit of a context on Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is a high... I might think he's a high-functioning sociopath, but I wouldn't say that for certain, because it could just be a lot of damage. But the damage that was done to him during childhood was due to an abusive dad that would beat him up, and like he was bad. He was a bad abusive dad as well, and you can see it in a lot of Sean's mannerisms and what he says and how he does things, and it's all about being a man and doing the man dance and stuff like that. But at the same time, I have to feel real bad for him, because he didn't decide to become this way. And as he says, if he doesn't spar, his demons take over. So, yeah.
Around here every week. Sorry, dude.
That's beautiful. Yet few compare to episode number 476. Theo and Sean began discussing their childhoods.
I used to always sleep in my mom's room because I thought my dad was gonna kill my mom. So like I would like sleep by the door. I'd sleep
to make sure she was all right.
Yeah, I'd sleep under the bed. You know, I'd sleep by the door.
Yet Sean couldn't finish his story as it was simply too traumatic.
I remember when I stopped.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. He had some real problems. Not like a little bit of problems. Like these were like the problems of life and death in childhood.
I believe in God, man. Like I had fucking yeah, it's crazy shit, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bud.
So, you know what? I gotta hand this to Theo Von. He calmed down the situation. I'm sorry, bud. He's just being there for him. He's just sitting there with him. I really enjoy Theo Von, honestly. If I ever got the chance to go on Theo Von's podcast, I would be super happy to do so.
Man.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
We don't have to talk, man. I can just sit here with you for a minute. I can just sit here. We can just sit here.
Nah, it's all good, dude. Just take a second. Just process it.
Leading Theo to comfort him by offering his own story.
I remember being so scared when I was a kid. Like I was saying, like I remember hearing that like animal peed when another animal wouldn't come. So I would stand up on my bed at night and I would pee around my bed in a circle because I was afraid that things were gonna get me.
Shit, who were you afraid? Like any particular? Just
everything. I mean, I was just afraid of everything.
Yeah, that's sad right there. But hopefully they'll at least what's it called? Sean will have a little bit of a moment. Maybe get some therapy. That would be good for him, I think, because I've been following his career for a very long time, and I really enjoy him. I really enjoy him as a fighter, and I really enjoy him as a person. But he does need a little bit of help.